Aloha, everyone. Welcome to the Beyond Breakthrough Show. I'm Jeannie Grosso coming to you live from Honolulu, Hawaii, and I have a very special guest today, my good friend, Dennis Price. Dennis is in Pennsylvania at the moment, but we met over 25 years in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. We had practices. When I used to have a wellness center there, he also had a wellness center. And I'm going to introduce Dennis today. I'm really excited that he's on the call. Dennis has over 44 years experience in biochemical nutrition. He's also a former paramedic. He has over 40 years experience in neuromuscular training with the Paul St. John method, which is he's taught over 300 hours to massage therapists on that too. He has 30 plus years of corrective exercise and the Paul check technique. And then he was also Tony Robbins. We worked with him for over, 31 years with Tony Robbins and being a life coach as well. He's also an NLP, which is a neuro-linguistic programmer, educator. He's an elite personal development trainer with Peter Sage, which is absolutely incredible. And now currently he's focused on pain and success strategies for coaches and leaders. And he has a program. His business is called Wholistic with a W, Wholistic Services. So Dennis, can you share some of your experience and your expertise with all these credentials and what you're doing now and how you're helping people worldwide and how what our breakthrough, how that works into your practice for yourself and your clients?
Absolutely. Thank you, Jeannie. That was very thorough. I love life, and God's given me opportunities, and I never was addicted to drugs or alcohol or sex or something. I love knowledge, and I kept studying, and I always wanted to help people even more. And so that's when I tried to move, my sister said, "What are you going to do with?" In my house, I had 17 bookcases that were 6-foot bookshelves that were 3 feet wide, full of books. And I go, "What do you do with that?" So, yeah, I have all this, and I think for all of you, one of my beliefs as a coach is that everything that's happened, the good, the bad, and the ugly, even the really hard times, I've had some. I know Jeannie's had some. I know how she went through some situation. But you know what? What if everything was God training you? In the gym, when you push harder, you get stronger. And when things aren't comfortable, then that's when we grow. And so what if everything was to help you grow? And I intentionally sought out situations that helped me grow to become a better person, to fulfill my purpose. My purpose between me and God is to experience life fully, to learn learn from or enjoy each moment and share with others so they have literally a more productive and a more fulfilling life. That's my purpose. And so I constantly look at new things. I'm studying new stuff right now that I go, wow, this is amazing. Gene mentioned Peter Sage. He was a trainer with Tony Robbins. When I got back with him, I heard a what do you call it, a tweet or Instagram, something, whatever they are. I don't like using the computer or the phones that much when I can. I'd rather sit in nature to be closer to God. But somebody was scrolling, and I ran in. I heard this noise, and I said, "Can you scroll back?" I go, "No, not the kitten, the guy with the English accent." I go, "That's Peter." He said, "Oh, you follow him?" I said, "Well, I was probably behind him once in Hawaii at the Waikoloa Hotel." But he said, "What do you mean?" I said, "Well, if I was following him, he would have been in front of me, right?" And so, but no, not on social media. But that was some of the most profound material. I'm always wanting to learn. That was just in the last 2 years. And now I'm a master trainer representing his program. But all that ties together. That's more on the mental and emotional aspects of life. And I would say tie in spiritual. No, I proudly say I'm a Christian. That's my belief system. And I bounce every philosophy off of, if I can validate it with a scripture from the Bible. That's my preference. I don't ask people to believe what I believe. I think I should be an example that becomes an invitation. And that's why I would encourage anyone listening to this to to live your life in a way that whatever you believe in, study it, know why you believe it, and go with that. So all the healthcare background, from emergency medicine, neuromuscular therapy, getting people physically out of pain without drugs or surgery, corrective exercise, to the second in a phase of my 3-part sequence. One is calm the stresses in our life. And that's when I put my hands on and did neuromuscular therapy. I calm the tissues so they don't have pain. Then the second C is correct the imbalances that caused it in the first place, like their posture. If they have a big forward head posture and they're slumped, these muscles are going to have to get tight again. Then they just keep coming back over and over. So correct the imbalance, and then condition new patterns of how you think and how you behave, our thoughts and actions. And so that got into, over time, working with Tony Robbins and different people, being certified as a grief coach and studying this system and that coaching means and things, to where I have a 6-part coaching system. There's 4 key skills in a toolbox to manage our lives or influence others. And so that's what I love to do. And when Jeannie told me about these Numi products, it was like, oh, wow, glutathione. Yes, of course. What about it? Because I already knew that the delivery was the big thing. It's an amazing molecule, and it does so much for the body, so much for physically, for mentally, emotionally. It can work with our nervous system. And it was just a great thing. And when I understood what Dave Scott put together here, this delivery system, I said, if this actually works, this is a breakthrough. This is significant. So I jumped right on board. I have people, because I've taught not 300 hours, I've taught 300 seminars that were 2 or 3 days long each. So it might have been 2 or 3 8-hour days, that 300 times that I taught people. And when you teach all over the world, in different countries and all over the US and Canada and places, then everybody wants you to be in their multi-level marketing program if you're teaching healthcare people, because they all go, oh, Dennis will be great because he'll spread it and I'll have this huge downline. And as Jeannie knows, I'm not a big salesman in some of these things. I love this, but I love this product. So I was on board right away. Like, usually I go, yeah, I'm not really interested. I'll be polite and read your material, but then I'm likely to say no. But I jumped on this because of what I knew about glutathione already. And this delivery system is so unique and actually profound that I said, yeah, I'm giving this a try. And then I had people that, to me, the bottom line is results. Then I told Gene, I had somebody in Miami, he does Brazilian jiu-jitsu, and with the gi on, and he actually just went to Vegas for the what's it called, the global or the world championship or something, and it's an open competition. So he's still amateur, but he's 42 years old and he started this stuff, the jiu-jitsu. It's usually his kids doing that. And he said the difference between trying to take caffeine pills, trying coffee, trying tea, trying whatever, these energy drinks, he couldn't believe the consistent difference without the jitters using glutathione before he trained, and his ability to recover and go back and train at someone in his 40s, wrestling basically and straining himself on the mat. Other people that sleep better have different issues. So I loved it. And then when she said neuro came out, well, when we go from our body to our mind, which all the cells, including your brain, can use the glutathione, but when you go to the mind, which is how we make decisions that affect the direction of our life, which determines our destiny. If I go into that coaching sequence, then why not have a product that's delivered right into your cells so quickly because of the nanotechnology that can affect your mind, which then between the body and mind, if you ever did my talk on conditioned response, or managing our state of being, the physical and the mental state of beings add up to what we typically call an emotion. And so I've been able to help people with neuro-linguistic programming techniques. I just was editing a testimonial from someone a year and a half later that her whole life changed after we got rid of some phobias, and the trajectory of her life is like going crazy now. It's a beautiful thing with what I knew, but now with neuro, with some of these, with the glutathione, to have the energy, even if you're an amazing person that has goals and wants to do that, you have to have the physical energy to do it. and that comes from the ATP in every cell, and get down to the cellular part of it, and the glutathione for that, and then this neuro, and then of course to support women, so which also isn't just physical, but then that ends up emotional and things with that. So this product line from Numi is incredibly impressive to me, and I'm happy to be on board with it. So for my purpose, looking at the whole person and how we function, I see this expanding even with the future potential of these nano-sized products. That is something that'll be in my toolbox for a long time here. So that's how I see it at the moment, and I'm sure there will be a lot more to come as I keep learning.
I know. Well, thank you for that. And as a matter of fact, this has caught the attention of people like yourself, doctors and scientists and neuroscientists. And it seems like you are that person. You're that person that is really working with people on the mindset, which is the spirit. I can see your 6 pillars here is physical, emotional, spiritual, financial, social, and mental. And of those pillars, where do you start when you work with your clients?
Well, that's the thing is, it depends. It's basically an assessment. It's not like, well, I have my system and I'll overlap that onto you. I say which area of the 6 primary areas of life is what I call this. Then which one has the most stress right now? Are you physically in pain? Do you have a disease? Do you have a physical situation that's restricting you? Is there an emotional thing? Are you in depression? Do you have a phobia that's restricting you from moving forward in anything in life? And then I start with that. If it's a relationship, then I might do, where first you calm the stressors, right? And then you correct the imbalances that caused it. And a lot of times in relationships, that's part of my talk on conditioned response, for one of my 4 core skills we need to learn to manage ourselves or others. And if you have conditioned patterns, like I had somebody that a couple in my office, and she said something and he went like this, and he didn't just roll his eyes, he rolled his whole head. And then she sighed. And so, see, that's when I say they're autoresponders. Are sending messages back and forth. They're not really communicating. They're not listening and responding to each other as humans that care about each other. And things were pretty rocky at the time. I said, do you see what happened? He said, yeah, she sighs like that sometimes. I don't know how to please her. So I said, yeah, but why did she sigh like that? Because you rolled your eyes like you were dismissive of what she said. So I noticed patterns in what people do. In that case, it started with social, but then there's also emotional triggers to that relate to the social, and then that come out of it. And then they start thinking about each other differently. That's the mental. And you can't think clearly at all if you don't have good nutrition. If your blood's toxic because you have all kinds of chemicals in your body from eating junk food, and you have polluted or toxic air or allergens in your environment. So just like with that couple, let's listen and see. I start with people wherever they have the most stress, and then we look at how that stress flows over into, because the way God made us, we're these whole people. And I believe that we look at the greatest stress first, and then I go into where's that overflowing? Is it going around the circle? Is it going across to one of these other areas next? And so with that system, then I also obviously want people to be able to think clearly. So the neuro product for Numi, I want them to make any decisions about their health, about their relationship, their spirituality, their finances, their business, whatever. There we go. And so there's the glutathione, okay, and the Hawaiian colors from that. So
it makes sense, Dennis, that I figured that you would answer it like that. And no wonder it's so easy for you to refer this to every single person, because it all starts in the brain. It starts in the mind. And glutathione, we've learned from listening to the science, glutathione was identified 100 years ago as the molecule. nanoscience is not new, but it's maybe within the last 30 years that they figured out how to reduce the particle size of molecules. But so this is the first time in history that glutathione has been nanosized under 10 nanometers, which makes it easily penetrating a cell membrane. And then they took this double part of the breakthrough is they took ultra purified water and they manipulated it. It's 400 times more pure than the hospital IV water solutions. And they encapsulated the glutathione nanosized molecule completely around it. So you've got not only glutathione, but you have L-cysteine, which is a precursor of the tripeptide glutathione, and that helps your body produce more glutathione. And that's in a separate nano particle that's all encapsulated in this one water molecule. And that's what our cells need is water, plus the curcumin, plus the vitamin C in this solution alone. So just the glutathione patented solution formula in just this bottle being the foundation called the NutriSwish, that is alone single-handedly what all the functions of glutathione, over 400 functions, 15 are critical for all life on Earth. That means all animals, plants, trees, everything is dependent upon glutathione. And then 3 of them, which you even touched on, are the most critical components of glutathione: toxicity. It's the primary detoxifier, okay? And then it's the sole transfer agent of oxygen from the blood into the cell. It's the sole protector of the immune system. So if you don't, and it's the master antioxidant, meaning all your other antioxidants can't even function without glutathione present. So those top 3 things are what's affecting people's brain and affecting their health physically, emotionally, in every single area of their life. If you don't have that oxygen transfer, and with this, it goes through the mucous membranes by swishing in your mouth, and then we can, spray it on your skin. So it goes from the inside out, outside in. It goes through every layer of the skin. It goes in through the mucous membranes, across the blood-brain barrier, in and out of the blood, and into the cells in 70 seconds intact. So everyone that uses this product as the foundation, they're having benefits on a cellular level, instantaneous. Within seconds, it's instantaneous, whether you see or feel it or not. But with the neuro, they took glutathione, L-cysteine, and curcumin, but they added a total of 14 other ingredients, nano-size. So when you do this one, in addition to the NutriSwish as the foundation, this is helping everybody with mental health. And now everything that you do is tying into the brain. Without the brain functions and neurological functioning, sparking properly, you can't do anything in life. I mean, the whole reason, I don't know, I think you remember this, me talking, because I've had therapy with Dennis back in the day for corrective exercise and posture, because I'm a former neuromuscular massage therapist myself. And I used to exercise a lot, and I would go to Dennis because, I always need resets in my posture. But for me, I remember back then, it was all mental and emotional. I mean, I was just like a mess. And it's like, we didn't have anything like this back then. I mean, people in our field have been waiting for this breakthrough forever, since nutrition was identified. I'm not even sure when the first, do you know, Dennis, when the first vitamin came out, like 60 years ago or so, 70 years ago, maybe 80 years ago?
When they started isolating things with science, but Hippocrates even, talked about how, the elements of our food and what nutrition actually is getting the elements that our cells need. And so, there were people that talked about it back in Hippocrates' day in relation to food, and avoiding toxicity. So then when we started having the science to take things apart, in the last century, we'll say 100 years, that it's developed, and now it's just exponential with this even with all the growth, I'll add in just to reinforce what you're saying. It's kind of exciting in a sense because, like you said, the mental emotional is something that most people don't think they have much control over. Like, well, he said that, so of course I'd be angry, or they made me angry. Well, no, someone can't make you angry if you understand the concepts that I teach in this program up here, because you should be in control of you and your mind, your emotions, what you think, how your brain fires, so you experience a state of being in your nervous system. And you can't manage that. Now, Peter Sage, there's some stuff with, he calls it meditation. I like that gets into a lot of new agey things that I'm not are too nebulous for me. If I can explain it, I don't teach anything unless I could explain it to kids in a classroom. And I have. I've taken my puppet Bucky, he's a beaver, and gone to talk to 4th, 5th, and 6th graders about how you feel better, how you manage your state of being. And I got some adults that it takes a bunch of coaching sessions before they get it, But that part, to breathe slowly through your nose, to calm your mind, to go from the beta, where our brain's going da 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 da, da, and it runs the same patterns. 82 or 84% of our thoughts and our actions are the same in a given week. If you include the weekends, it's more than that if you include Monday through Friday. For most people that get up, they get dressed, they go to the bathroom, they eat or don't eat, and they get in their car, they go to work, they do things, they treat this person nice because they smile, and they treat this person badly because they believed it was a negative experience once, and their memory of that. And then they come home and they do the same thing. Our brain just physically runs a pattern that's not living the way God wanted us to. And so to be conscious beings that live our life with intention, then this meditation, calming your mind, like just breathe slowly through your nose. There's actually nerves that go from your nose, the little organelle that vibrate, and nerves that go back to the limbic system, the back of your brain, that actually calm it. So if you calm it to 10 hertz, that now you're in alpha waves. That's where this field of possibilities is. And Psalm 46:10 says, "Be still and know that I am God." So I could sit still, but what if I breathe slowly through my nose, calm my brain? I get all excited about this stuff. Calm my mind to the point that now I'm in a state of being. Someone called me for a coaching session and paid me very well recently. And the last thing I told her was, go out to a park, forget everything I just said, go out to a park, sit on the grass. You can look up earthing or grounding if you want and see the effect of this, the way God made us. Sit in the grass and just breathe slowly in and out through your nose for 10 minutes. Don't think about this problem, the issue, the solutions, or just calm your mind. She called back later and said, everything you told me was great. And that technique was the answer. And a lot of people can't calm their mind. Either there's toxicity and or even in their brain, and or there's just these patterns of thoughts. And to create new thoughts, we have to be able to calm down. We have to be able to have our brain, our nervous system function properly. And that leads to a life that my two priorities, it's productive and fulfilling. And so those two things, whichever is more of your priority, hopefully some of both, but having this glutathione where it can actually get into the brain, because most products, you mentioned the blood-brain barrier, and that might have passed by some people. That's a significant factor, where if it can get into your brain, now that's a whole different thing. And just from swishing right there in your mouth, and that's even close for the absorption. So one of my movies that's one of my favorites of all time is The Matrix. Some people say, I don't know, it's an action thing or whatever.
No, I hear you on that.
It's so rich and deep in metaphors. But when Neo was unplugged and he ended up being, in their ship, and he met Tank and Dozer, I forget which one it was. He said, "These are indeed exciting times," because they were wondering if he was the one or whatever, that thing. So there's a whole lot of metaphors there too. But yeah, these are exciting times, Jeannie. This discovery is literally, it's not just another product. This is a breakthrough. And so, yeah, I'm jumping in with both feet. I'm all behind this. With my background, I like to analyze things. You introduced me to another product line once and asked if I'll come to a meeting. And I said, yeah, but you got to know, I'm going to ask questions. And
Well,
I
and
did.
that's what
I want to
I
know about the
count on,
source.
because I know your heart, and I know what kind of person you are. I'm the same way you are. Everything is God first for me. And when we heard that glutathione, which is known as God's miracle molecule, there was finally a breakthrough way to get it into the cells and utilized by the cells. That's the big difference of this technology than any other technology in the world. I mean, we have 20 other formulas coming, but we picked the main two right off the bat, which is a very high concentration of glutathione in the NutraSwish. And now with the Neuro, when people are out of pain and they feel better and they look better, they can perform better. It's that simple. And when they start reducing the toxic burden and combating the oxidative stress and providing the nutrients that the brain and all the cells need, and those are the three main factors that cause disease. It's a vicious cycle. When you their glutathione levels start to lower, it causes disease, and disease leads to lower glutathione levels. And then we have a system to instantly bring it back. And then that way your body can start functioning, because it combats the same glutathione single-handedly combats the same things that causes all these imbalances. Now you can think clearly, and then now you have better relationships, and you can even have a better relationship with God. Because I always been saying, medications not only lower your glutathione levels, they never heal you. They're just meant to manage the pain. And there's a place for medicine. In the ER, you were a paramedic. I remember I asked you, I said, by the way, Dennis, when someone's in a coma, what do they give them at the hospital? Do they give them glutathione? And you said no. Why is that? Why wouldn't you give somebody in an accident glutathione instantly to help the cells recover, come out of a concussion, come out of a coma?
Yeah, well, this could go off into about either 9, 19, or 119-hour discussion, but I have pretty strong thoughts about the state of medicine.
Yeah, me
and
too.
by the way, when I teach linguistics, the power of words is one of the 4 key skills. We need to understand the power of the words we use. And I was talking to someone recently, and he mentioned, well, what's your view on the healthcare system? I said, what do you mean? And then I ended up, the bottom line I was getting at was, we don't have a healthcare system. We have a disease treatment system. And
Yes.
they only learn what Rockefeller, back at the turn of the century, he funded the 5 major medical schools, and therefore he got to set the curriculum, and he was investing in pharmaceuticals. And so the curriculum is based on drugs and surgery. And so a natural product that the drug companies can't make money on, I'm just saying it right out front here, they won't use that. And not because the doctors aren't caring people and the nurses. I work with some amazing people. I spent a lot of years in emergency rooms and intensive care units. But you know what? They can't do something they weren't trained to do. If it's not in their mind, it's not one of the options they can pull out and employ. And so they aren't taught nutrition, basically. And so that part of it, yeah, they're not going to do that. But the good news is that we can now use this. One of the things you mentioned, a couple of things like feeling energy. We all need energy to be able to do whatever we're doing in life. We need to think clearly so we can make decisions about what to do with that energy, and also to feel. Then if we can manage our mind and body, then our emotions, if we understand how to do that, can feel good. One thing that our culture is so, again, conditioned, when I talk on conditioned response, are so conditioned to is just the vanity. In our media, our movies, TV, all the sitcom, everything. And so even if somebody just wanted to care about themselves and vanity, this is probably, you talk about oxidative stress and how free radicals destroy a cell. And if another free radical bombards the same cell, it deteriorates, and then that cell becomes less of a cell. Then when it's duplicated, which every cell is duplicated every year, some a lot more than others, but every cell, like this is your 2024 version model of your body, but it'll duplicate this instead of this amazing, vibrant, living thing that was there before. And so that's free radical damage or oxidative stress, which is aging. And so even if it was just for vanity purposes, not because you're interested in molecules that produce, neurogenic, productivity, if you just want to feel better and feel and not feel better or look better, but actually have a younger body, like it doesn't just relieve wrinkles in the skin. It actually heals the skin. It makes it healthy when you spray that on. And so even if we just went with the typical market in our culture, which is about vanity and not wanting to look like we're getting or looking older, then the glutathione is still, it's probably the best answer because of that free radical effect. How it activates as the master antioxidant, it activates all the other ones even more than they could do before, in addition to what it does itself. So yeah, there's so many reasons, from the superficial right down to deep scientific reasons, to have this as part of our toolbox to offer people.
And what are your results from it?
Well, for me, the biggest thing, I'm pretty healthy and there's not a lot that I don't have a lot of symptoms. So people say, oh, you're going to feel amazing and this is going to be, I don't.
Can you share your age? Do you feel comfortable with sharing how old you are?
Yeah, today's the 19th, and today I turned 68 years old.
Oh, it's your birthday today. That's right. Happy birthday blessings. That's right.
Thank
68.
You.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Anybody that sees this knows the truth. I teach a lot on security, and there's other things I'm fascinated by. Helping people be safe is a passion of mine. And so I'm licensed as an armed security officer in Florida and do stuff. But so I don't put my real birthday on. Everybody congratulated me yesterday on Facebook because I put different dates so people don't know your home address, your birth date, to look you up and all that stuff. So, but anyhow, yeah, I'm 68 years old. I have lots of energy. I have so many big dreams and stuff I want to do in life. And, I just need the energy to keep going and going. And so
well, you're truly chosen, that's for sure, by God. And I know you have a big mission and ministry ahead of you. Praise God for that. And that's how I feel about what we have, and keeping our brain sharp is the most important thing. And what we see on the outside, I know on our skin, because you don't look 68. And when you see someone on their outside, you just know how healthy their cells must be on the inside. Because by the time you see really aging and problems on the outside, you know that there's serious damage on the inside.
Yep. And so a lot of medicine doesn't even, I just read a doctor that I actually disagree with his overall philosophy, because, that's part of the mental section of my training, how we think. And his overall philosophy, you don't have to just like or not like somebody. Liking them is one thing. Understanding and agreeing with or buying into what they say. So his overall philosophy, still accepting the general allopathic medicine approach in a lot of ways, I disagree with, but he had some profound statements. So the book was worth reading. And what he calls medicine 1.0, where they wait until like diabetes. If your A1C is right at this one number, you're one number below the limit, so you're not diabetic, and they don't do anything. Even though you're right, you're 1 point from being diabetic, but they don't do anything yet. Once you cross that line, now you need to see, you're either insulin dependent, medical dependent, diet dependent, whatever. How do you manage that? And like you said, it starts on the inside and it builds up until then medicine wants to treat it in Western medicine. Whereas this is starting from the inside out at the very cell, which makes up every tissue and which makes up every system, your digestion, your nervous system, your muscular system, like every system is made up of tissues, which is made up of cells, which can use this glutathione to be even healthier. So Yeah, from the inside out, like you just said, that was a great point to make, Jeannie, because we're starting internally, and then the effects will show on the outside.
Exactly. Even in everything that you do. And on the athletes, you touched on that real quick. I wanted to share with you, I'm not even sure you are aware, but we have 19 doctors and scientists on our medical science board, and they all volunteer because they know the magnitude of this product. And they also administer, if they're in practice, they do administer to their patients. So we have a different program for that. But one of the doctors, he works, he's a sports medicine doctor in Spain, and he works with Olympic and elite athletes. And they did a study with just the glutathione, not the neuro. They just did a study with the glutathione and on all the endurance athletes. And it reduced the onset of lactic acidosis by 16.7%. And he had said that there's nothing on the market, because they have sophisticated test and measure equipment, that can even do over 4%. Okay. And this is 16.7%. It gave them an extra 2 kilometers on their time because they were able to recover faster and perform better. And it's all due to glutathione and this instantaneous cellular utilization. And then we have former strength and conditioning coach Bill Gillespie of the Seattle Seahawks and Liberty University. And he's an amateur weightlifter, and he ended up hitting his personal best and the world record from the age of 59 and a half all the way to 62 at a world record of, I don't have it in front of me, but something like 1,400 pounds. I mean,
Yeah, well over 1,000 pounds, which is, by the way, that's not by age group. That's like the masters. That's for anybody doing bench press. Yeah.
Yeah, in history. So
in his 60s.
The athletic performance. And then I was told, I didn't know because I don't know Hollywood movie stars, but they have vans now that go around with IV glutathione just for the movie stars to keep, their energy up, because they're on the sets for, hours and hours on end, and for their beauty, right? They have IV glutathione. And we have a number of doctors that are surgeons that would get IVs almost 3-4 times a week, because they're in surgery for 14 hours. So can you imagine what it's doing to the medical community and the ER community? Those people were getting IVs just to maintain the level. Firefighters, all of our first responders, I mean, they're working shifts, 12-hour shifts or more. Air traffic controllers, all these people that need to be sharp mentally now can just take a couple capfuls of this swish every hour on the hour if they want to, and they'll have instant cognition. And then we have, I don't know if you're aware of this, but the American Brain Council, this Dave Larson is an incredible person. I spoke to him personally, and we got to meet at the 3-year anniversary party. But Dave Larson used to work for the American Alzheimer's Association, and there was a government-funded study with some, I don't know how many people were in the study, and their unit was to prove that nutrition impacted cognitive decline. So there's no known medical drug that can reduce cognitive decline in Alzheimer's patients, Parkinson's, ALS, dementia patients, okay? There's no known prevention, but nutrition was proven, certain nutrients were proven to reduce cognitive decline in 100% of the patients that were tested in this government-funded study, and the American Alzheimer's Association did not publish it. And that's when Dave resigned and started American Brain Council. And this is one of the few products that they even endorse, if you would, because of the ingredients, the 14 ingredients that are known for brain health, proven to reduce cognitive decline. We have it in 1 teaspoon, 2 teaspoons a day. So can you imagine how many people, when I'm in this entire field, Dennis, I don't know if you know this, but when I was 21 years old, my mom was 58 years old, and she started, she had dementia, and she later died with Alzheimer's disease at 72. That was 34 years ago. I was driven in this field to find ways to prevent and reverse that from happening to me and my family. Okay. And I've struggled with memory issues and cognitive issues since my 20s. I thought it was normal back then. I didn't know anything about nutrition until my late 20s. So in the last, 25 years, I've been all over every possible nutritional supplement, therapy, breathing techniques, like you said, getting out into nature, having prayer, and some people meditation, and having all these other things to balance, getting the massage, getting blood flow and oxygen and nutrients to the brain. I knew how important this was for cognitive benefits. And I got as far as I think you could get with prevention. And then this came about. So for the last 2.5 years, since the company came on the market 3 years ago, I was thankful to find this when I did, because when I noticed instant, just with the NutraSwish, with the glutathione alone, which I had been on for over 2 years before the Neuro came out, that alone, my instant results was immediate cognition, immediate focus. I have the attention deficit. My son has that issue too. My memory was better. My just brain fog, the clarity, and then my energy, performance, and recovery. I was working out 2 times a day with that. And then my skin transformation was unbelievable. And that I attribute that to, like yourself, eating a healthy diet is key. Okay. I've gone to the extent of course, I drink purified water. I'm always out into nature every day, getting some sun and exercising. It's a critical part. I get 8 hours of sleep a night. People don't even talk about sleep. This glutathione helped with my sleep patterns. It put me into a deeper sleep. And then when I added Neuro, it was like instant clarity and memory.
That was the one thing that probably I did notice was more restful sleep. I would sleep through the night. I would turn. I've had some injuries. I don't know, some of the stuff I did wasn't playing rugby, getting beat up. I told someone the other day that had played rugby, but and had pain, thought he'd live in pain since like 36 years old the rest of his life. But now he's running around doing all kinds of stuff. I said mine were all vertical injuries. I like fall when you're rock climbing or skydiving and you land a little hard and stuff. And so my shoulders, I lay on the left side and my shoulder hurts, so I turn over. But after using without even the Neuro, just the Numi, I felt like I was resting better and waking up more rested was the key thing for me. So yeah, there's definitely, if I didn't feel a difference, what I know about it, I would still use it. That's a key thing. Yeah. We were talking the other day, and I had someone talk about the idea of free radical damage and oxidative stress, and that's preventative medicine. And so we were talking about if somebody wants to said, well, I want to try it before they sign up for to get something to be on an auto ship. I go, how do you try prevention? And you like that phrase? Because I don't know how. Yeah, how do you try prevention? If it makes sense, and this is where we're not allowed to. We're used to being sold something that, oh, you're going to jump out of bed feeling like $1 million and you're going to be twice as productive and your income's going to triple and you're going to find the partner of your dreams or create the relationship out of the one you have will transform if you eat this pill. And that's let's understand the science behind it, what it really does. And that's why I love this, because I can stop being excited, just calm down and say, look, this makes sense. That's the way I think about think things through. As you know, I'll question everything. I think after we get to 18 or I don't know, maybe 38 in our culture, when you're old enough to think,
yeah.
At some point we should question everything. I should question my Christianity. I should question if I'm Buddhist, Hindu, Muslim. I should question why I believe the Jewish religion is true, if that's what I claim to believe. I should not just grow up. Sometimes I say, if I was born in India, I might be a very good Hindu,
Yeah.
because that's what would be in my brain. That's what I would have learned. So once we're old enough to think, I think we should question things. And so why is it like that? And so why does that work, or why doesn't that work? And we should question modern medicine. We should question nutrition. And when I question things like this, I have a whole course on thinking. That's one of my 1/6 of my program. And so when I question this, this came out top of the line in terms of what you just mentioned, nutritional products and supplements to what we eat, breathe, how we think, energy from the earth, avoiding the electromagnetic fields and phone stuff as much as we can. Like my phones are on airplane mode that are in the room while we're doing this talk. I just have a little bit less signals, electromagnetic fields going through me, and the radiation stuff. So I appreciate the time going over this today. Just a little overview of some things. Excited to be on board with Numi, and that I want to thank you for introducing me to it, because it is truly a breakthrough. It's something I without hesitation share with people.
Yes, thank you for your time and your testimony. Thank you so much. I'll end with this. It just reminds me of the scripture in Romans is, don't be conformed to the patterns of this world, but be transformed by the renewal of your mind. And we have all that in our spirit and in our soul. And now we even have it physically. Thank you all for joining us, and have a blessed day.
Bye now.